Yes.
Hey Sam, how you doing?
What's up, buddy? You're up too late, man. Aren't you supposed to be getting beauty sleep?
Nah, I'm
Oh,
gonna
you're
go to bed like around 12. I usually go around about 12 on Sunday.
So
I
are you saying that you're too good looking? You don't need sleep?
No.
All right. What's the question, little man?
I saw this one verse. I believe it's in Matthew. It's a verse after. I think it was after Christ died on the cross. And why did the saints in the grave arise after Christ?
Okay.
That
I'll
happened.
answer
Yeah,
that
basically.
again. Good one. But you know what? I love you. I love you. You know why I love you?
Why?
Oh, you don't know either? Because I was trying to figure out the reason why I love you. No, but anyway, go to Matthew 27. Read for me 52 to 53. Let's answer the question, but read it first. All right?
And the graves were opened, and many bodies of the saints that had slept arose. And coming out of the tombs after his resurrection, came into the holy city and appeared to many.
Now, okay, notice the question. What's this all about? Guys, I need you to pay attention. Pay attention to what he's asking me. What's this all about? Jesus, when he died, the tombs of the saints broke open. Their bodies were laid bare. People could see their bodies. When Jesus was raised on the third day, they came to life and they showed themselves to many in the holy city. What's that all about? I just answered it about a week ago, but I'm going to answer it again because as creatures of repetition, we need to hear something repetitively until it becomes second nature by the power of the Holy Spirit for the glory of Jesus. All right? You ready?
Yep.
Okay. Now, number one, these people had recently died. You know how I know they recently died?
How?
Because their bodies are still intact. Typically, in Jewish culture, when a family member died, he'd be buried for a year, and then they would go dig out the bones because the body would deteriorate, take those bones, put them in what they call ossuaries, little boxes, and store them away because they believed that God would use the bones to resurrect their bodies. Notice that these people were not bones, they were bodies, right? Right? Not bones.
Yeah.
But now let me show you examples of prophets dying where their bodies deteriorated. All remained of them was their bones. Go to 2 Kings 13, 20 to 21.
Mine's labeled differently because I'm using Dewey Rames. Right?
Hey, it's okay. Just as long as you're not ashamed.
2 Kings
13, 20 to 21. It would be that would be fourth kingdom, right?
Yeah, fourth Kings, yeah.
Yeah, 13, 20, 20.
It's labeled differently.
Yes,
I just
exactly.
got it in the Bible, so.
13, 20, 21.
All right. And Elisha.
Elisha. Yeah, Elisha. Yeah.
Elisha. And Elisha died, and they buried him. And the rovers from Moab came into the land in the same year. And some that were buried, a man saw the rovers and cast the body into the sepulchre of
Elisha, dude. Can't you see it's Elisha?
Of Elisha. And then they headed the bones of Elisha.
What of Elisha?
The head of the bones.
Okay, well, guys, Elisha, when he died, the prophet died. What remained of him? Read 2 Kings 13, 21, brother.
And some that were buried, a man saw the rovers and cast the body into the sepulchre of Elisha. And when it had touched the bones of Elisha.
Touched what of Elisha?
The bones.
So where's Elisha's body? Decomposed, right?
Yeah, the bones.
Okay, so notice, bodies decompose, the bones remain. Okay, now let me give you an example of Joseph. Go to Exodus 13, verses 19 and 20.
And Moses took, Moses took Joseph's bones with him.
Moses took what with him?
Joseph's bones.
What happened to Joseph's body?
It decomposed.
Okay, so he took Joseph's bones out of Egypt because he had been buried in Egypt, but all remained was his bones. And what did he do with those bones? Keep reading to 20.
And Moses took Joseph's bones and with him, Joseph's bones with him, because he had adjured the children of Israel, saying, God shall visit you, carry out my bones from hence with you. And marching from Scoth, they encamped into Ethem, into the utmost coasts of the wilderness.
Okay, so you got the point. Bones, not bodies. But what rose when Jesus was resurrected on third day? The bodies of saints, right? Right?
Yeah. Yep.
That means these were recent believers who had recently believed in Jesus and had died, right?
Yep.
Because if they had been dead for a long time, they would be bones, not bodies, right?
Yep.
Okay, so number one, these would have been recent believers who had believed in Jesus but died, so that Jesus raised them temporarily as a witness to those family members of theirs. Jesus has been raised. He's alive physically. And here's the proof. he raised us as a witness to you. But when he raised them, he didn't raise them immortal. The only one that was raised on that day, immortal, glorified, physically indestructible, is Jesus. He's the first fruits. The rest would have been raised in their temporary bodies to a temporary life, only to die again, like Lazarus, like Jairus' daughter, like the widow's son, right?
Yeah, let's see.
So they were recently dead believers in Jesus, who were then raised temporarily in their mortal bodies, only to die again as a witness. Look, Jesus is alive. He's raised immortal. And here's proof. He raised us from the realm of the dead to bear witness to his resurrection. He's alive. He is Lord. He's coming again. You got it now?
Yeah, I got it now.
Okay, so these are not ancient saints who were raised in immortal bodies. These were recent believers who had recently died, who were raised in their mortal bodies to temporary life, only to die again, like Lazarus was raised to die again. Jairus' daughter was raised to die again. The widow's son was raised to die again, because at that time, only Jesus was raised immortal, indestructible, because he's the first fruits of the dead who will be raised immortal at the end of the age. Is that, you understand that now, right?
Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, I can understand.
And so why was Jesus raising them temporarily? As a witness to the people, their loved ones, family members, and to others. Jesus is alive. He is risen. He is immortal. He's in heaven reigning. He'll come again. How do we know? Because he raised us from the realm of the dead, where we saw him, and we're here to testify he's alive. Because look, we were dead, we're alive. Who do you think raised us from dead? He did. Have no doubt and believe in him.
Okay.
Making sense to you?
Yep.
Now, this was a foretaste of an Old Testament promise, a foretaste of an Old Testament prophecy. Go to Ezekiel 37, 12 to 14. Who knows? Maybe Joseph was raised too, his adoptive father. Possibly Joseph was raised only to die again. I don't know. Ezekiel 37, 12 to 14.
All right. Therefore, prophesy and say to them, thus saith the Lord God, behold, I will open your graves and will bring you out of your sepulchres. O my people, I will bring you into the land of Israel. And you shall know that I am the Lord when I shall have opened your sepulchres.
Sepulchre, which is graves. You'll know that I'm the Lord when I open your graves. This is how you're going to know I'm God. I'll open your graves and do what?
Sepulchres, and I shall have brought you out of your graves, O my people. And I shall have you put my spirit in you, and you shall live. And I'll make you rest upon your own land, and you shall know that I, the Lord, have spoken, and I done it, saith the Lord.
Now, did you guys catch the prophecy? God will raise the nation spiritually as well as physically from their graves. And when he does that, he'll break their graves open, bring them out of their graves and their bodies, and make them alive by his spirit. And then the people know that he's the Lord God. You understand the message of Matthew? When the graves broke open, when Jesus died because of an earthquake, and then the bodies came to life when Jesus rose, that was Jesus's way of showing you, I am the Lord your God who has come to raise you spiritually and physically from your spiritual and physical tombs so that you will live before my sight. So this was a taste that what will happen when Jesus comes. A partial fulfillment of Ezekiel 37, 12 to 14. Did everyone get it now?
Yep.
And you got it too?
Yeah, I got it.
All right. If that's clear, you got any more questions, or that's it, young man? Yep, Ghost of Jess. That was Jesus showing he's the God of Ezekiel, doing what Ezekiel said God would do. So Jesus gave them a foretaste. I'm the Lord your God who broke open the graves of those who believed in me, raising them up in their temporary bodies to their mortal existence as a sign of the foretaste of what I'm going to do when I return. Have no doubt.